With the start of a new year, many of us are working on intentions to form new habits. If one of your goals is to create more art and reconnect with your creativity, this video is for you. If you've ever sat in front of a blank page, unsure where to start, or worrying about ruining it, you are not alone. Sometimes the fear of making mistakes in a pristine art journal or anywhere, fear of not being good enough, stops us before we even start. That's why this week we are talking about letting go of perfectionism in our art journals. Letting go of perfectionism is liberating, and it's also necessary for creativity. Let's embrace the perfect imperfection and revel in the process. It was not my intent when I started this week's video to return to blind contour drawing for the first video of the year, but that is the way it has worked out. And I guess it is a great tradition. All you need is your art journal or a piece of paper, a simple pen, and some interesting objects that have interesting shapes, but simple shapes. The stapler may be a little ambitious, so I won't do that one first. But if you haven't been around the last 2 Januaries of Better with Art, or I should say last January of Better with Art and January of 2022 with the 52-week art journal journey, and I'm going to move this so you can see better what I'm drawing. Although I am going to have to move it further out of the shot for this to work the way it's supposed to. The goal of blind contour drawing is drawing blind. Look only at the object you are drawing, not at your hand. As last week's art, which I also thought was a good reason to bring this in this week, it helps train us to really look at an object. And I don't think I should have probably tried to do all the shapes at the end of the screwdriver, but oh well, here we are. Perfectionism, as I said, can kill creativity, although that's not the way I said it. When we are so concerned about how things will turn out, we can't enjoy the process. And well, oh my word. My pen has not cooperated in a past video on this, but, well, way better than that. New pen. And if it's not one thing, it's another, right? So, back to simple screwdriver, where I can see it, even if you can't. I'm going to pick a spot further up my paper. And forget to talk while I'm drawing. That's okay. Okay, could be better. Could be worse. But what do we even mean by better or worse? I followed the shape of the screwdriver with my eyes and tried to follow with my hand and pen what my eyes were seeing. So if nothing else, it's great for that. But I think it looks pretty interesting anyway, even if it's not an exact representation of my object. Here's my second object, a mug I use for paint water. If you want to get the most out of making art for creative self-care, you have to be able to give yourself permission to be messy. And be willing to embrace perfect imperfection. I forgot about the inner part of the handle, but that's okay. I think it's pretty cool. And I have learned in the past that it's fun to overlap things. Now I need to decide how many details of this stapler I want to try to capture. Maybe I'll try just the outline first. Maybe I won't start purposely overlapping. We'll see how it goes. I hope that as we go through this new year, you will find time, make time, take time to make art. And as always, I appreciate this opportunity to remind you that it's not a waste of time. Wow. All things considered, that's pretty close for an ending for me. Well, I guess they all have been pretty close. As I've said, I love this project. I don't do it very often, though. Let's be bold and try for more details. All right. I had much more of a plan for what I was going to say today for this week's video, but it has, for the most part, gone out of my mind. And that's also okay. If my videos were too perfect and well produced, you wouldn't even know who I was. Some other ideas. Other ways that you can encourage yourself to embrace imperfection in your art journal is to purposely start with a mess. Maybe splatter some paint on your page and create from that. We've done watercolor blobs, many different versions of that. Paint splatters are always fun. We have done projects where you tape off a grid and then just go nuts painting, which we should try that one again too. Another way to encourage yourself to just make art without being overly concerned about how it turns out is to set yourself a time limit and limit your materials. Just pick a certain number of things you can use, a limited color palette, and just snowplow. Do what feels good. Just create intuitively for that set amount of time with whatever materials you have chosen. That would have been fun to do on its own new paper, although I really like what it adds to this. You see my fins aren't quite lined up with my fins. You know what? I really like this. This fish is pretty cool. I'm going to do another page with the fish. Something we need to remember about my simple form of art journaling is the goal isn't perfect pages. It's experiencing the benefits of the process of making art of many different types, simply for the pleasure and mental health benefits of making art. I, for years, refused to accept the importance of art making to my mental health. And once I got to the point where I could accept it and used a 100-day project to allow myself to give myself the permission. I love this fish. This is so much fun. When I used the 52-week art journal journey, and maybe No. When I used the 100-day project, and maybe the 52-week art journal journey was for you permission to make art regularly, or maybe you'll use Better with Art for that. The benefits that I found in purposely choosing to make art and having the 100-day project come around at just the perfect time for me to be ready to let it be a way to give myself permission to make art. I totally lost the train of that sentence, but that's okay. What I'm saying and what I repeat frequently is I am here with Better with Art to share with you what I've found in the regular practice of art making for creative self-care. It is amazing for our mental health. Even if you don't consider yourself an artist, science is proving that we can benefit from the act of making art. It's great for anxiety and depression and the treatment of PTSD. It can help us process things and express things we don't have words for. And when we have projects like my simple neurographic style line making, I bet my shirt is in the screen, in the view, my big baggy shirt. Refocus, Melinda. The neurographic line making and softening that we do can help us soften jagged we're feeling within ourselves. The repetitive things like the watercolor blobs or the neurographic lines and other line making projects I share help us turn off our brain when it's being unhelpful. Not turn it off, just get it to a place where all those sounds, all the noise outside and in quiets. That state of flow. One interesting thing about those things that we can't stop thinking about them because we need to try to figure out how to fix them is when we stop thinking about them and get caught up and let ourselves just focus on making line or shape. Sometimes we can gain clarity when we stop trying so hard to think of a solution. Taking time to make art is not a waste of time. I'm trying to do more like the suction cup side of my fish. At least making my dots like that. I gave it an eye anyway. But yes, taking time to make art is not a waste of time. It's great for our mental health. And as I mentioned in December, when we give ourselves the very important gift of time making art, we're also giving that gift to others, because when we are more balanced and stable, have more equanimity. We're better equipped to handle all those many roles in our lives, all those relationships, demands. We can act with more grace. I had no idea when I started this I would get so fixated on making these fish, but it is so much fun and so relaxing. So even if you only find one object, if it's only going to be one, make sure it has some interesting features. I've rambled a lot. And okay, Melinda, don't apologize. Accept the mess. Accept this week's messiness. We are wired for creativity, made in the image of the Creator. When we are not taking time to exercise our creativity in ways we enjoy and find meaningful, we can't be as healthy as we would be. Which is why I am here every week with another small art prompt. I have gotten back into also including journaling prompts. So this week's prompt, we sort of have a theme going on lately of the intent to make, the intent to care for ourselves with art making. Last week it was about a step you could take to make more art in this coming month, in these coming weeks. Don't worry about the whole year. Worry about this month. And worry about it is the wrong phrase anyway. Did you decide to get up a few minutes early, a day or two a week, to create some art making time? If so, have you decided on a more tangible reward than feeling better to reward yourself if you meet your goal for a certain amount of time? Have you come up with something else? I would love to hear how you are motivating yourself to keep making art. As I said, for me, getting back into a regular art making practice required my giving myself permission to get back into a regular art making practice. And I used the 52-week art journal journey. No, why do I keep saying that? I used the 100-day project of 2022 to commit to making art every day for 100 days. And there was no turning back. So here we are with the second year of Better with Art, which is the third year of my prompt making videos. I love some of the feedback I have received. I enjoy my little Facebook group that is slowly growing. There's a link below if you'd like to join. You'll also find a link to these art journals that are ideal for my simple form of art journaling. And you can sign up to be notified when my various online and in-person workshops are available to sign up for. Make art, friend, because we are better with art.